Welcome to Prophets of Babel with your host, Janine. This is part 3 of the reading of the Torah of Moses. Chapter 23, the Law and the Sacrifice. And it came to pass that there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine had become most grievous in the land. And it came to pass that as Abram journeyed toward Egypt, as they came near to enter into that land, Yahweh came unto Abram, saying, Behold, Sarai thy wife is a very fair woman to look upon. Therefore it shall come to pass that when the Egyptians shall see her, they will say, She is his wife, and they will slay thee, that they might have her, yet these shall save her alive. Therefore see that ye do on this wise. Thou shalt speak unto her, that she shall say unto the Egyptians that she is thy sister, and thy soul shall live, and this shall ye do for a wise purpose unto me. And Yahweh Elohim showed unto him the Urim and Thummim, stretching out his divine hand, and showed unto Abram many things, yea, even many marvels. And Abram was shown the sun, the moon, the stars, and their places, and their purpose in the heavens. For these do show unto man the stories of the past, and are given for signs and seasons, for omens and wonders. And the angel of Yahweh did say unto the man, The night that thou wast born, the stars reigned in the sky, and 4 stars took flight to one another, to cause a great light. This to know that my servant was born into the world. And Abram did look into the Urim and Thummim, and did behold many things that came to pass before the world was, and many things that should come, and he did marvel. And it came to pass that Abram told Sarai all that Yahweh had shown unto him. And after this he said unto her, Behold, now I know thee to be a fair woman to look upon. Therefore it shall come to pass that the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, This is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive. Say then, I pray thee, unto them, I am his sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee. And this I ask for a wise purpose in Yahweh. And it came to pass that when Abram and Sarai and their people did come into Egypt, the Egyptians beheld the woman, Sarai, that she was very fair. And the princes of the court of Pharaoh also saw her, and commanded her to be brought before Pharaoh. And Sarai was taken into the house of Pharaoh, and Pharaoh did entreat Abram well for her sake. And he was given sheep and oxen, and he asses, and men servants, and maid servants, and she asses, and camels. And he did give Abram a place that he might have the ear of Pharaoh. And Abram did teach many things unto Pharaoh, for Yahweh Elohim had instructed him so. And Abram did show unto Pharaoh the sky and its secrets, and he did teach Pharaoh of Yahweh. Pharaoh was pleased with what he was shown of Abram. And it came to pass that the Elohim of that land did send plagues unto Pharaoh and his house from the day that Pharaoh knew Sarai, even great plagues, because of Sarai, the wife of Abram, and Pharaoh. And Pharaoh called Abram to stand before him, saying, What hast thou done unto me in this thing? And Abram did confess that which he had done, saying that this was a wise purpose unto Yahweh Elohim. But Pharaoh feared his own Elohim, and not Yahweh Elohim, saying, Why didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife? Why sayest thou, She is my sister? Yea, and didst thou do this that I might have taken her unto me to wife? And now she has lain with 2 men, and is taking hold of 2 men, as if I, Pharaoh, would be her concubine. And now the law has been made, but shall not be fulfilled, else our wives shall fall prey to ideas. Now therefore, behold, I say unto thee, Take thy wife and go thy way. Pharaoh commanded men concerning him, and they sent Abram away, and Sarai, and all that they had. And Abram and Sarai went out of Egypt, taking all they had, and Lot and his wife with them, unto the south. Okay, unto the south. Under here, south here refers to Abram and Sarai seeking purification from God through the Holy Spirit, see cardinal direction. But this is interesting because he's saying that now there's a new law that a woman can have more than one man, and he sends them away so that his wives will not fall prey to ideas. Pharaoh wanted to buy Sarai's property, not realizing this is God's will, an attempt to bring Pharaoh to the upper world of righteous desires. Pharaoh and Sarai consummated their relationship, making the marriage legal and binding, making Sarai truly a queen over Egypt. Pharaoh is not rejecting his marriage, but is rejecting her by sending her back to the higher desire that is Abram. Chapter 24, two paths. And now it was, even as Yahweh had promised, for Abram and Sarai were very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. And they went on their journey from the south, even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Hai, unto the place of the altar, which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called on the name of Yahweh. And Lot and Adbu, his wife, also went with Abram, and they too had an abundance of flocks and herds and tents, and the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdsmen of the cattle, Abraham, and the herdsmen of the cattle of Lot, that they could not dwell together. And Abram said unto Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdsmen and thy herdsmen, for we are brethren. Therefore separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou go to the left hand, I will go to the right. If thou go to the right hand, then I will go to the left. For it is not the whole land before us. And so let us then call upon Yahweh for instructions on whither we should go. And it came to pass that they did call upon Yahweh, and they did listen to the voice, which said, Abram, send thee, my servant Lot, into the lands of Sodom and Gomorrah, to offer them teshuvah, which means repentance and grace, that they might cease their lustful and violent works unto their destruction. And this was said, for the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwell then in the land, and these knew not Yahweh. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before Yahweh destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, like as the Garden of Eden, yea, even as the land of Egypt. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, as he had been told, and Lot and Adbu journeyed east, and they did separate themselves, the one from the other. And it came to pass that Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom, that he and his wife might learn of them, and teach them of Yahweh and his teshuvah. But the desires of Sodom were exceedingly wicked before Yahweh. Yahweh was angered with them. And Yahweh said unto Abram, after Lot was separated from him, Look up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art, northward and southward, and eastward and westward. And remember the covenant which I make with thee, for it shall be a new and everlasting covenant. And thou shalt remember the days of Enoch thy father. For all the land which thou seest, I shall give thee unto thy seed forever, and I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, thy seed shall also be numbered. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee. Then Abram removed his tent and came and dwelt in the oaks of Mamre, which was in Hebron, and built there an altar unto Yahweh. New and everlasting covenant says, a covenant written and sealed upon our hearts, binding the earth and heaven to bring the heavens to the earth, the sealing power. That's awesome. And it came to pass that Abram journeyed from thence toward the south country, and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abram said again of Sarai, his wife, She is my sister. And so it was that Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent for and took Sarai. And it came to pass that the Elohim of Abimelech came to him in a dream by night, and said unto him, Behold, thou hast taken a woman which already has many husbands, for she is the wife of Abram, and they have done this before. And Abimelech awoke, saying, I shall return her unto Abram, For if I do it not, and should I die, Abram will sit upon my throne. Therefore Abimelech arose early in the morning and called his servants and told them all these things in the secret of their confidence. And the men were sore afraid. And Abimelech did call Abram before him the next day, and said, Wilt thou slay me, to take unto thyself this righteous nation? What hast thou done unto us? And in what have I offended thee, that thou hast brought on me and my kingdom a great sin? Thou hast done things unto me that ought not to be done. What sawest thou that thou hast done this thing? Behold, didst thou not say unto me, She is my sister? And she even herself said, He is my brother. And by her beauty and the integrity of my heart and innocence of my hands have I done this thing. And Abram said unto him, Yea, I know that thou didst do this in the integrity of thy heart, for I am a prophet, and I shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. For I seek not thy throne, that thou should surely die. Thou and all that thou hast are thine, all but Sarai, which is also mine. And we have done this thing because I thought assuredly the fear of Elohim Shaddai was not in this place, and they would slay me for the sake of my wife. And this we did also for a wise purpose in Yahweh. And yet, indeed, she is my sister, the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. And it came to pass that when Elohim caused me to wander from the house of my father, that I said unto her, This shall be thy kindness, that thou shalt show unto me at every place whither we shall come. Say of me, He is my brother. And this we did for a wise purpose in Yahweh. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants, and gave unto Abram, and also gave unto Sarai their wife. And Abimelech said unto him, Behold, my land lies before thee. Dwell wherever it pleaseth thee, but speak not again of these matters, that this law be forgotten. And unto Sarai he said, Behold, I have given thy brother 1,000 pieces of silver, and he shall give unto thee a covering for thy eyes. And it shall be a token unto all, that thou mayest not be taken again from Abram thy husband. And this he said in anger, that she be reproved, for he understood not the will of Yahweh Elohim. And it came to pass that Abram prayed unto Yah, and Yahweh healed Abimelech and his wives and his maidservants, and they bare unto him children. For until that day, Yahweh had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech, that upon seeing the power of Yahweh given Abram, he might know the true Elohim. But feeling slighted, his eyes remained shut tight, peering with his heart, only to see that he be not deceived by Abram and Sarai again. Chapter 25, Taken and Given. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, the king of Shinar, and Erech, king of Elazar, and Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations, that these kings made war with Bera, son of Sodom, and with Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemembar, king of Zemboim, and the king of Bela. All these, even Bera, Bersha, Shinab, Shemeber, and the king of Bela, were joined together, united in a secret oath of priestcraft in the valley of Siddim, which is at the Salt Sea. For 12 years they had served Chedorlaomer, but in the 13th year these did rebel against him. And in the 14th year came Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaims in Ashtaroth Parna, and the Suzims in Ham, and the Emmons in Shava Corinthum, and the Horites in their Mount Seir, unto Elparan, which was by the wilderness. And they returned and came to En-Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites in Hazazontamar. And from there went out from the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admon, and the king of Zebulun, and the king of Bela. And these joined battle with them in the valley of Siddim, with Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and with Tidal, king of nations, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elazar, 4 kings against 5. And the valley of Siddim was filled with slime pits, and the king of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there. But they that remained fell to the hill country and to the mountains. And it came to pass that the 4 kings did seize all the goods, taking all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their food and provisions, and went their way. And they took Lot, the nephew of Abram, and Adbu, Lot's wife, for they did dwell in Sodom. And they took them and their goods and departed. And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, the man of Yahweh, for he dwelt in the land of the oaks of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner. And these were bound by a treaty with Abram. And when Abram heard that Lot and Adbu and their people were taken captive, he armed 318 of his trained men, and all these were born in his own house, and pursued unto Dan. And he came unto them by night, and divided himself against them, he and his men, and smote them, and pursued them unto Haba, which was on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back Lot, his brother's son, Adbu, Lot's wife, and all their goods, and women also, and the people. And the king of Sodom also went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer and of the kings which were with him at the valley of Sheba, which was the dale of the king. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he did break the bread and blessed it, and he blessed the wine, he being the high priest of Elyon, high priest of the Most High God. And he gave to Abram, and he blessed him, saying, Abram, thou art blessed, for thou art a man of Elyon, possessor of heaven and of earth, and blessed is the name of Elyon, which hath delivered thine enemies into thine hand. Now, this is a pretty crazy story when you think about it. These 4 kings just beat 5 kings, and Abram goes and does enough to get Lot back with 350 men. And thus Abram gave unto Melchizedek in tithes from all he had taken, to care for the poor and the needy in and about the land. And the king of Sodom said to Abram, Give me the purses, and take the goods to thyself. But Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand unto Yahweh, and Elyon, the Creator, the possessor of heaven and earth. And I have sworn an oath that I will not take of thee from a thread, even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou should say, I have made Abram rich. Yea, I shall take of thee nothing, save only that which the young men have eaten. But unto the men which went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them take their portion. And it came to pass that Melchizedek lifted up his voice and blessed Abram, he being the high priest and the keeper of the storehouse of Yah, appointed to receive tithes for the poor. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, spake unto Abram, saying, Ha, Elohim is with thee in all that thou doest. Now therefore swear unto me here that by the help of Elyon thou wilt not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but that according to the kindness that I have shown unto thee, thou shalt do unto me and to the land wherein thou hast sojourned. And Abraham said unto him, I will swear. And then Abram reproved Abimelech because of a well of water which the servants of Abimelech had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, Thou didst not tell me, and I know not who hath done this thing, neither yet have I heard that it was done until this day. And Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them unto Abimelech, and both of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abram, What wilt thou do with these 7 ewe lambs which thou hast set by themselves? And he said, 7 ewe lambs shalt thou take at my hand, that they might be a witness unto me that I have digged this well. And because we shall swear, both of us, wherefore the name of that place will be Beersheba. And thus they made a covenant. Then Abimelech and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, rose up, and he sent men to plant a grove in Beersheba, and to call there on the name of Yahweh, and then to return unto their own lands. And it came to pass that Abram did worship El Olam. Chapter 26, the blessings. And it came to pass that Abram took his things and his people and departed back toward his own land. And it came to pass that in his journeys the word of Yahweh came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, for I shall be thy shield, and I will be thy exceedingly great reward, even according to the blessing of my servant Melchizedek, I will give unto thee. And Abram said, Yahweh Elohim, what wilt thou give me, seeing I and Sarai my wife go childless? For Eliezer of Damascus was made to be the heir of my house, and all that I possess. And because thou hast given us no seed, one born as a servant in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of Yahweh came unto Abraham, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he shall come forth out of thine own bowels, shall be thine heir. And Yahweh Elohim brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now toward the heavens, and count the stars, and if thou be able to number them, I say unto thee, even so shall thy seed be. Abram believed Yahweh, and it was credited to him as righteousness. And he said, Yahweh Elohim, how wilt thou give me this land for an everlasting inheritance? And Yahweh reminded Abram of the visions given him in the Urim and Thummim, saying, I, Yahweh, brought thee out of Ur of Chaldees to give thee this land, to inherit it. And though thou wast as dead, yet am I not able to give it thee. And if thou shalt die, yet shall thy seed possess it. Take me a heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And after this vision had left him, Abram took unto him all these, and he cut them, dividing them in the midst, and he laid each piece one against the other. But the birds he did not divide. And he did burn them upon the altar, and those that were with him did eat. But when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away, and that which was not eaten continued to burn and to smoke. And when the sun was coming down, it came to pass that a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a great terror and darkness fell upon him. And Yahweh spake, and awoke Abram back to the vision, saying, Abram, thou shalt die, and go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried at a good old age. Know of a surety that after this thy seed shall be a stranger in a land in which they shall serve the strangers, and they shall be afflicted and serve them 400 years. And know also that this nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. But in the 4th generation they shall turn back to come hither again. And the vision left him again, and Abram began again to sleep. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp remained in the midst of those pieces which Abram had divided. And it came to pass that Abram awoke from his deep sleep and looked forth into that light that shined in the darkness, and saw the days of the Son of Man, and was glad, and his soul found rest. And Abram remembered all that Yahweh had shown him in the Urim and Thummim, saying, I have found the shalom of Yahweh, for the day cometh that the Son of Man shall live. Yet how can he live if he is not born of a woman, that he might die and take up his life again? He must first be quickened, and even so, through him shall I and my seed be quickened, and shall live. And in that same day Yahweh made an everlasting covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river Euphrates, and from the land of Kenites to the Kenizzites, and the Cadmonites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rephaims and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Girgashites and the Jebusites. And it came to pass that in the morning Abram returned home in peace. Now Sarai, the son of Abram, had borne them no sons, yet she had with her an Egyptian woman, a princess, even a daughter of Pharaoh, she being given of Pharaoh unto Sarai, who was called Hagar. And it came to pass that after hearing all that Yahweh had said unto Abram, Sarai said unto her husband, Behold now, Yahweh hath closed me up from bearing thy seed. I'm going to read the footnotes. Hagar in Hebrew means stranger. The impression is given that Hagar is Sarai's daughter, or Sarai adopted Hagar, taking in one of the Pharaoh's daughters as her own. What is clear is that Hagar was not a servant nor a slave owned by Sarai. It is interesting. She is a princess of Pharaoh. I pray thee, go in unto this woman with me from Egypt, and take her also as thy wife, for she is worthy by her birthright, and do this that perhaps we may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened unto the voice of Sarai, his wife, for even so had she hearkened unto him in gaining two husbands, whilst they were in Egypt. And Sarai, the wife of Abram, took Hagar, the Egyptian woman, and gave her to her husband, Abram, to be his wife, sealing them together in the covenant of Yahweh. And Abram went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, Hagar began to look upon herself with much pride of heart, and began to despise their wife Sarai, seeing her as lesser in her eyes. For it was that she, Hagar, thought that she should give Abram a son, and that her child should rule when Abram was taken in death. And Sarai said unto Abram, I have made a grave mistake. I have given this woman from Egypt into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes, for she now sees herself as above me in station. Yahweh judge between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarai, Behold, this is our wife, and in thy hands, and we have made a covenant between she and us and Yahweh, wherefore we cannot send her away. And now she is thy equal in our bond, and no servant to be beneath thee. Therefore fix this between she and thee, and I place this firmly in thy hands. But Sarai was sorrowed by the words of her husband, and she listened not, and she dealt harshly with Hagar. And so great was her affliction that she fled from before the face of Sarai. And an angel of Yahweh, being named Barlachai, found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to Shur. And Barlachai said unto her, Hagar, from hence comest thou, and whither wilt thou go? And Hagar answered, I flee from the face of my lady Sarai. And Barlachai said unto her, Return to thy lady, and submit thyself unto her hands, for Yahweh will multiply thy seed exceedingly, so that it shall not be numbered for multitude. Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shalt call his name Ishmael, because Yahweh hath heard thy afflictions. And he will be a wild man, and his hands will be against every man, and the hand of every man against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. And Hagar asked the name of this angel of Yahweh, and Barlachai spake unto her, saying, Knowest thou that Ha Elohim seest thee? And she said, I know that thou art sent from El Roi, for Yahweh, the Elohim of my husband, and all his house has seen me. In the notes, it says wild man means untamable. Ishmael's descendants became the Arabic people, a people odds with Jewish people for a millennia. And I have also here looked and seen, and truly in this place have I seen one who looks after me. And there was a well between Kadesh and Bered, near where Hagar saw the angel, wherefore the well was called Bir or after the angel of Yahweh, for a memorial to the seed of Abram. And it came to pass that Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram and Hagar did call their son's name Ishmael, by the words of Barlachi the angel. And Abram had reached the 86th degree, and Sarai the 83rd, when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. Chapter 27, the covenant of circumcision. And it came to pass that Yahweh Elohim did bless Abram and Sarai and Hagar, and did give unto them riches and honor and lands for an everlasting possession, according to the covenant which had been made, and according to the blessing wherewith Melchizedek had blessed Abram. And when Abram had reached 99th degree, and Sarai had reached the 98th degree, it came to pass that the high priest Melchizedek took Abram and Sarai and did teach them all he knew of Yahweh Elohim, that Abram and Sarai might possess hidden wisdom unto Yahweh. But their wife Hagar he did not teach, for she would not cease to worship the Elohim of her old land, even the gods of the hands of man. And it came to pass that in that day that Yahweh spoke unto Abraham and Sarai, saying, I am Elohim Shaddai, and thou shalt come before my face uprightly, and be complete before me. And through my servant Melchizedek make my covenant between me and thee, and I will multiply thee exceedingly. And Yahweh Elohim spoke to Abram through his covenant, his servant Melchizedek, as he prayed over him, blessed him, saying, my people have gone astray from my precepts, and have not kept mine ordinances, which I gave unto their fathers, and they have not observed mine anointing, and the villa wherewith I appointed them in Teshuvah. In the notes, it says to consecrate a portion is the anointing. The villa is Hebrew for washing, a ritual washing, full body immersion in living water for ablution, similar to baptism. So they're not baptizing. I appointed them. Appointed means invite or instruct. Teshuvah is repentance and grace. But these have turned from this my mitzvah, and taken unto themselves the washing of children, the burning of flesh unto ash, and the sprinkling of blood. But as for thee, behold, I will make my covenant with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. And this covenant I will make with thy children, that it may be known among all nations, and thy name shall no more be Abram, but I shall give thee a new name also, and thy wife Sarai also. And thy name shall be called Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee. And I shall make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come of thee and of thy seed. And I will establish a covenant with thee, with the circumcision of the heart. And it shall be my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee in their generations. And thou mayest know of a surety forever that children are not accountable before me until they are of age. For a babe cannot walk, nor a child comprehend the weightier matters. But as for thee, thou shalt walk in Teshuvah, observing to keep my law and all my covenants, wherein I covenanted with thy fathers, and thou shalt teach thy children the same. And thou shalt keep the mitzvah which I have given thee with mine own mouth, and I shall be thy Elohim, and the Elohim of thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and thy seed after thee a land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, for so long as they shall know and keep their Elohim. Therefore thou shalt keep my covenant, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. And this shall be my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and thee and thy seed after thee. Every child among you shall be taught to become circumcised. And when every child is 8 days old, they shall be blessed and instructed in Teshuvah, that they may be circumcised of the heart when they come of age. Yea, every child forever in all generation. They that are born in the house or bought with money of any stranger which is not of thy seed, they that are born in thy house, and they that are bought with thy money must needs be taught. And my covenant shall be even woven into thy skin for a new and everlasting covenant. And when thy children come of age, they shall be given the token of the covenant between me and thee, the covenant of Christ that we all make in every generation from the beginning to the end of time. The original text implies that they will be cut off by not being taught or given the proper ordinances. And the uncircumcised, they who shall not circumcise their hearts, these souls shall be spiritually cut off from the people and shall not learn my signs and tokens, for these have broken my covenant. And Melchizedek said these and many other words unto Abram. And after this, Melchizedek came unto Sarai, Abram's wife, and he blessed her, saying, Sarai, thou shalt no longer be called Sarai, but Sarah shall be thy new name. And I will bless thee, and Yahweh will give thee a son, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him also, even the new and everlasting covenant with his seed after him. Yea, I will bless thee, and thou shalt be blessed, for thou shalt be known as the mother of nations. Kings and queens, and many people shall come out of thee. And as thou art a queen over Egypt and other lands, thy seed shall be a royal people. That's interesting because she married Pharaoh. She is a queen of Egypt. It sounds like that fulfills prophecy. And because thou art a priestess, and thy husband a priest, thy children with him shall be a royal priesthood, given them by the law of the patriarch and matriarchal. Wow, that talks about two priesthoods, patriarchal and matriarch. Priesthood established by the covenant, that shall be passed down by the blood through thy seed unto the ends of the earth. And it shall be through thy seed who shall have claim over the earth through Egypt, and the heavens through my priesthood, that the heavens shall be brought unto the earth in tikkun olah, that the creation shall be completed. All right, princess or elect lady, here representing the earth, while Abraham represents the heavens, their marriage uniting heavens and earth. So Sarah represents the earth, Abraham the heavens. The original text of the plate of brass speak of healing and completing the creation. The diviner or translator used this term as it equates to these in a simpler term. A more literal translation would be that the heavens shall be brought unto the earth in healing completion, that the creation shall be eternally finished. Therefore I give thee thy duty to teach these things unto thy children, that when they come of age, their walk shall be in teshuvah with me, and their hearts shall be circumcised. And when they do come of age, they shall not reject the covenant, but shall be my covenant people. Unto these shalt thou give my signs and tokens, even as I did give them unto thy ancestors. And Sarah wondered in her heart, how should this be? For she was barren, not to mention she's 100 years old. And Abram did fall on his face and called upon the name of Yahweh, and rejoiced, and said in his heart, there shall be a child be born unto me. And Sarah, though she is barren of me, she shall still conceive. And Melchizedek said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son, and it shall be as Yahweh hath spoken. And Abraham said unto Yahweh before Melchizedek, oh, that Ishmael might live uprightly before Yahweh Elohim. And Melchizedek answered him in the spirit of prophecy and revelation, saying, as for Ishmael, Elohim hath heard thee. Behold, he shall be blessed, and Yahweh will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and Elohim will make him a great nation. But this covenant will be established with Isaac, whom Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year, unless Ishmael and his seed should come to El Elyon through Isaac, for they too shall be of thy seed. And Melchizedek gave unto Abraham and Sarah all that had been passed down from Adam and Eve from the beginning, even the keys and the signs and the tokens. And it came to pass that after this, Melchizedek left off talking with them, and Elohim went up from Abraham and Sarah. Chapter 28, Promises Made. And it came to pass that Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all males that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin as a reminder of the covenant Elohim had made with them. And Abraham was in the 99th degree, and Ishmael in the 13th degree, when they were circumcised, and in the flesh of their foreskin, and they did in remembrance of the covenant. And on the same day, Abraham and Ishmael were circumcised. All the men of his household, which were born in his house and bought with money of strangers, were also circumcised with him. And all they that rejected the covenant were offered a sum of money, and he-goats and she-goats and camels, and sent on their way from out of the lands of Abraham. But there was none of the men that did not partake in the covenant. And it came to pass that the angel of Yahweh appeared unto Abraham in the plains of Mamre, as he sat in his tent door in the heat of the day, and recovering from the wound of his hands, saying, Behold. And Abraham did lift up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw these men, he ran to meet them from his tent door, and bowed himself toward the ground, saying, My brethren, if now I have found favor in your sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree, and I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on, for this is why ye have come to your servant. And they said, Go, and do as thou hast said. And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead, and make cakes of bread upon the hearth. And Abram ran unto the herd, and fetched a calf, tender and good, and gave it unto a young man, and he hastened to dress it. And he took butter and milk and the calf which he had dressed, and stood them before them, and he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife? And Abraham answered, Behold, she is there in the tent. And one of them blessed Abraham, and he said, I will certainly return unto thee from my journey, and lo, according to the time of light, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard him in the tent door. And now Abraham and Sarah had heard this promise many times before, and not seen it fulfilled. Therefore Sarah had given up on this, believing her womb to be closed to her husband. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, thinking, After all of these years, my womb is still empty of the seed of Abraham, and how then shall I conceive of him? And the man asked of Abraham, Why does Sarah laugh? Is anything too hard for Yahweh? And the men revealed themselves to be Malachim, Hebrew meaning angels or messengers of Yahweh. And the first spoke again, saying, At the appointed time, behold, I will return unto thee from my journey, which Yahweh has sent us, and according to the time of life, thou mayest know that Sarah shall have a son. Then Sarah denied her laughter, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but thou didst laugh. And the Malachim rose up from thence, and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And the first Malach said unto Abraham, Yahweh said unto us, Because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great and grievous, their sin is very grievous, I will destroy them. Oh, this is interesting. This is the same 3 men that go in to save Lot, I'll bet. And Yahweh will send you, and you will go down now and see that their iniquities are rewarded unto them, and ye shall have all things done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me. And if ye do it not, it shall be upon your heads, for I will destroy them. And you shall know that I will do it, for it shall be before your eyes. And the Malachim, which were holy men, and were sent forth after the order of El Elyon, turned their faces from thence, and went towards Sodom. And Abraham stood yet before the angel of Yahweh, remembering the things which had been told him. And Abraham drew near to Sodom, and prayed unto Yahweh, calling upon his name, saying, Wilt thou destroy the righteous within the wicked? wilt thou not spare them? Perhaps there are 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place of the 50 righteous that may be therein? Oh, may that be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and the righteous should be as the wicked. O Yahweh, may that be far from thee, for shall not the judge of all the earth do that which is right? And the angel of Yahweh spoke unto Abraham, saying, If there be 50 righteous within the city of Sodom, then I will spare all the lives, spare all the place for their sakes. And Abraham answered and said, Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto my Lord, which is able to destroy the city and lay all the people to dust and ashes. Wilt thou spare them perhaps? There lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy all the city for their wickedness, if thou should find there 45 righteous? And the angel of Yahweh said, I will not destroy it, but will spare them. And Abraham spake unto him again, saying, Perhaps there should be 40 found there. And the angel of Yahweh said, I will not destroy it for the sake of 40. And he pleaded again, saying, Oh, let not my Lord be angry, and I will speak. Perhaps there shall 30 be found there. And the angel of Yahweh said, I will not destroy them if thou shalt find 30 there. And Abraham said, Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto my Lord again. Wilt thou destroy them if perhaps there shall 20 be found there? And the angel of Yahweh spoke again, saying, I will not destroy them for the sake of 20. And Abraham said, Oh, let not my Lord be angry, and I will speak yet, but this once perhaps 10 shall be found there. And the angel of Yahweh answered again, saying, I will not destroy them for the sake of 10, but should there be less than this, behold, I shall tell these to flee the city. And should they not look back in longing of that sinful place, I shall not destroy them. And the angel of Yahweh went along his way, and Abraham went his way back in unto his wives and their son. And it came to pass that Abram returned unto his tent in peace. Chapter 29, Promises Kept. And it came to pass that the Malachim that had left Abram did come to Sodom in the evening, and they found Lot sitting in the door of his house in the city of Sodom. And Lot, seeing the Malachim, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And Lot said unto them, Behold now, Adonai, turn in, I pray ye, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early, and go on your way. And this he had spoken, for he knew of the wickedness of Sodom, for the people had not heard his cries unto them unto Teshuvah, repentance. And he did seek to protect them, not knowing that these were Malachim. And they say, Nay, but we will abide in the streets all night. And Lot pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him and entered his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down to rest, the scorners of the city of Sodom surrounded the house, even they which were both male and female, old and young, even the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him mockingly, Where are the men which came in unto thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may consider them, and take them to our liking. And Lot went out of the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I plead with you, as I am one of you, do not so wickedly, for they are now with me, and it would be a dishonor to my name, should something happen to them. And they said unto him, Stand back. And they were angry with him. And they spoke and said among themselves, This one man came in to sojourn among us, and he is a foreigner among us, and now he thinks himself to be our judge. Now we will deal worse with him than with them. And they pressed forward as to break down the door. And this was after the wickedness of Sodom, for they had no love for their fellow men, and the foreigner among them was not welcome to dwell therein. And Lot said, Behold now, I have 2 daughters which are betrothed, and other daughters which are wed. to men of this great city, and see ye that I am one of you. I beg, pleading with ye, my people, for Elohim cannot justify his servant in this thing. Wherefore, let me plead once again, that unto these men ye do nothing, that they may have peace in my house, for these have come under the shadow of my roof. Wherefore they came unto Lot, saying, We will have the men and thy daughters also, and we will do with them as seemeth us good. And the people were angry with Lot, and came near to break the door. But the Malachim of Elyon, which were holy men, put forth their hands, and pulled Lot into the house unto them, and shut the door. Now, I find this really interesting because the Bible version where Lot offers his daughters to the people standing outside has never set with me right. And this makes way more sense. He offers his daughters as examples of why he is one of them, not offers his daughters to them. So completely different. And they're saying they're going to take his daughters as well and do what they want. And the people were smote with blindness, both small and great, that they could not come to at the door. They were angry, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. But in their blindness, they could not find it. And these, the Malachim, said unto Lot, Haste, thou any here besides thy wife and thy sons-in-law and thy sons and thy daughters? And Lot answered them, Nay. And they commanded Lot, saying, Whatsoever thou hast in the city, thou shalt bring out of this place, for we will destroy this place. For the cry of them is waxing great, and their abominations have come up before the face of Yahweh Elohim, and Yahweh has sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out, and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get ye out of this place, for Yahweh will destroy this city. But unto his sons-in-law he seemed as one that mocked. And it came to pass that when the morning came, the Malachim hastened to Lot, saying, Arise, and take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest they be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the Malachim laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of Adbu, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, Yahweh being merciful unto them, and they brought them forth and set them down without the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that they said unto them, Escape for your lives, look not behind you, neither stay you in all the plain, but escape to the mountain, lest you be consumed. And Lot said unto one of them, Oh no, Adonai, behold now, thy servant has found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil overtake me and I die. Behold now, here is another city, and this is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let us escape thither, and may Yahweh not destroy it, and our souls shall live. And the Malachim said unto him, See, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overtake this city of which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything until thou hast fled. And the name of the city was called Bela, and the sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Bela. And it came to pass that Yahweh did not destroy Sodom until Lot had entered into Bela. And then, when Lot had entered into Bela, Yahweh rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah. For the Malachim called upon the name of Yahweh for brimstone and fire from Yahweh out of heaven. And thus they overthrew those cities and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew upon the ground. But it came to pass, when Lot fled, his wife Adbu looked back from behind him and was consumed, for she longed for the vanities of Sodom. And it came to pass that Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before Yahweh, and he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the plain, and behold, lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. And he looked too over toward Salem, and it was gone. For in that same day did Yahweh Elohim take Melchizedek and his people, even as he had done with Enoch and his people. So we have two cities, Melchizedek and Salem, and the city of Enoch, two separate cities. And he took Melchizedek the same day he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. And it came to pass that when Elohim had destroyed the cities of the plain, the voice spake unto Abraham, saying, I have remembered Lot, and sent him out of the midst of the overthrow, that the seed of thy brother might not be destroyed, when I overthrew the city in which Lot dwelt. And Abraham was comforted, and Lot went up out of Bela and dwelt in the mountains, and his two daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Bela. And he dwelt in a cave, he and his two daughters. And upon seeing all the destruction, the daughters of Lot did believe themselves to be alone upon the earth. So they think they're the only living people. So they're totally surrounded by destruction. And the firstborn said unto the younger, Our father has become old, and we have not a man on the earth to marry us, to live with us after the manner of all that live on the earth. Therefore come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve the seed of our father. For these did not know, nor did they understand, being left alone in that cave far too long, by the fear of Lot their father. It came to pass that they did wickedly, and made him drink wine that night, and the first went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the next day, that the first said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve the seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the first bare a son, and called his name Moab. And the younger, she also bare a son, and called his name Ben-Ami. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today on Prophets of Babel. Have a good rest of your day.